who is the risk manager for Africa Guarantee Fund. Many thanks, Joshua, for making time.
Thank you, Aby, for having me in your show.
Many thanks.
This afternoon.
Well, Joshua, looking at agriculture, a lot has been said about the sector, that it can be transformative for a country like Kenya. I don't know, from where you sit as Africa Guarantee Fund, just bring us up to speed on some of the key aspects that the institution does.
Thank you, Aby, once again. Firstly, let me start by saying that the African Guarantee Fund today is celebrating its 4th annual general meeting that is taking place here in Nairobi. And this, of course, is to showcase and to bring to the fore the sort of milestones that the AGF has achieved in the past year, in 2015. Now, to your question, African Guarantee Fund was set up in the year 2011, and it has its main operational headquarters here in Nairobi. Today, with a staff capacity of about 25, and has achieved an operational growth over the years to represent 35 countries today. But its key mission today, the key mission of African Guarantee Fund, is to support or promote creation of sustainable economic development and the growth of SMEs through providing products that guarantee products that we have for the market.
All right.
And this fund has been promoted, has been set up by founding shareholders who include Danita, we include, we have the African Development Bank, and we also have the Spanish government through the development body or agency called ICID. Basically, our aim, our purpose is to promote SMEs, enable access to finance through the formal financial sector of the SMEs, because they are the engine of growth. They're internationally recognized as the engine of growth in Africa. And our purpose is to enable access through the banks and other financial institutions that exist within Africa.
All right.
Our mandate is to cover Africa.
Speaking about this fund and also targeting the SMEs, I'm keen to find out how much so far has been spent around channeling funds to SMEs in terms of grants, as well as what has been the impact really on the ground.
Today, or as at the end of 2015, AGF had signed guarantee agreements with its partner lending institutions up to the tune of US dollars 230 million. Now, what this has done...
Approximately 2.3 billion.
2.3 billion shillings. This is across Africa.
All right.
And what this has done, it has enabled the financial institutions to avail loans to the SMEs up to the tune of $500 million. You may ask why or how is this? The AGF guarantee is a risk-sharing guarantee. So when we come into partnership with the financial institution, we don't provide 100% guarantee. We provide 50% of cover, and the bank takes the other share of the risk.
Okay.
So with our 50% of 230 million, the bank can then give double that, in essence.
All right.
So roughly they can lend up to 500 million US dollars.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So what has been the impact of this?
Today, some of our achievements, and this is what we are going to showcase during the next 2 days, our guarantees have enabled access to finance of up to 1,300 SMEs today across 35 countries in Africa. And out of this, 35% of that has really gone to businesses that are led or owned by women, and 85% of this have gone to businesses led or owned by youth. And this is where the real capacity to grow the continent lies, through mobilizing resources or enabling access to finance to promote women and encourage women to more and more engage themselves in business. And to the youth, who today, most of them are not employed. So what happens is when you support the SMEs to grow, they increase their revenues and they grow their businesses through innovation and through other means, acquiring assets and long-term assets. And with this, they create jobs. And when they create jobs, then
becomes
it
an
supports
ecosystem.
Yes,
of
it
its
becomes
own.
an ecosystem and supports the economy.
Interesting.
Yeah, yeah.
Of course, as much as we are talking about the financial impact it has had in terms of uplifting livelihoods, are there any social impacts it has had as well on the society in terms of course, there are jobs being created, people can earn an income, but over and above, there's also the social angle around. Does it translate into societies being able to have ventures that are sustainable?
Yes, one of the key components that AGF has within its mission is what we call a trust fund that we call capacity development. And within this fund, the main purpose is really to build up the capacity of both the financial institutions and the SMEs.
All right.
So on the SME end, the social aspect comes in the sense that we help SMEs because today the SMEs are perceived to be a risky area to invest in from a formal sector, financial sector perspective, simply because they do not have collateral, and also the corporate governance in terms of management skills of the company, of the businesses, is really not up to level. So what the Capacity Development Trust Fund does for all those SMEs that are using the African Guarantee Fund guarantee, we arrange certain interventions to build up their capacities and to build up their businesses, how to manage businesses. We train them, we bring them up to upscale their skills on how to run the business and how to build corporate governance structures within the business. And this then helps bring in the sustainability of the business that is needed and comfort to the financial institutions that they can be able to then provide funding to these.
Interesting, interesting indeed. So Joshua, of course, as we wrap up our interview, my big question is, are we likely to see the fund being scaled up? You talked about, you've so far done about, it was 2 billion Kenyan shillings?
Yes.
Are we likely to see the fund being scaled up, as well as how can one who is watching, how can they benefit in terms of, can they apply for this grant? What is the minimum level? What is the maximum level? And also, what does it really take for someone to tap into this fund?
Okay, if I start with your last question, the model that the African Guarantee Fund has or has adopted is one whereby the guarantee is granted to the financial institutions. Then the financial institution is able to take through the SMEs through their own internal processes as normal without disrupting anything. And where they feel that they meet the certain set criteria under our guarantee, then they will place them under our cover, our guarantee cover.
Okay.
That's the model. AGF does not give direct guarantees to SMEs.
All right.
So SMEs will really approach the banks, and then the banks will assess them as normal.
Okay.
And when they feel that they meet certain criteria that are set under our guarantee, then they will seek to place them under our guarantee.
Okay.
Our guarantee covers all sectors except very few sectors that are not eligible based on international standards. For example, tobacco promotion sectors, child labor sectors, and all the other, the casino sectors.
Okay.
So we have a list of a few that we don't cover, but generally we cover all sectors within an economy.
Which banks do you currently have arrangements with?
In Kenya, we have an arrangement with about 10 banks. I may not be obliged to mention them today for various reasons from a risk perspective, the moral hazard issue. But I can give a number. Today in Kenya alone, we have about 10, but across the African continent, we are partnering with 37 banks today.
Okay.
But these are both standalone and group. So within the groups, again, we deal with their subsidiaries.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
To your second question, which was, are we doing anything to scale up the
fund?
The fund?
Yeah.
Yes, indeed. The fund has really grown up and is still growing. Our mandate is big.
Okay.
The capacity to fund SMEs in Africa is so huge that not only AGF can manage to cover,
That's
not
true.
even in the next 5 or 10 or 15 years.
Oh, okay.
But AGF got on board, continues to get new shareholders who come in with funding.
Okay.
To give you an example, in the last year, 2015, AGF got on board the AFD, which is the French Development Agency, as well as Nordic Development Fund, who came in as shareholders and brought in some funding. This has created capacity, a bigger capacity to do more guarantees across the African continent.
Interesting. Looking forward to seeing how fast the fund can grow to assist most of the SMEs in the country. Many thanks.
Thank you very much, Aby.
Well, we'll be speaking there to Joshua Obengele, who is the head of risk at the Africa Guarantee Fund, just shedding some light around how can SMEs be developed in Africa. Of course, a lot of potential in the SME world. Well, we want to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we'll still be keeping it Matters Agriculture, and I'll be speaking to another gentleman who you don't want to miss out that conversation. We'll be looking at food security in Africa and how do we address these issues. Don't go too far.